All right, to finish up the Chapter 4 review questions, in 15 and 16, in 15 and 16, we're given two figures, and I've got those mapped already. We've got DEF, and then the question is how do we get DEF to JKL? And in number 15, I feel like one of the first things that I want to do is with DEF, like how do I get from this figure to this figure? And I've got my points written down, and I notice in the points that the very first, or like the first numbers in the original figures, the 2, the 4, the 1, all become negative over here. -2, -4, -1. And what I know is that if I want to keep my my x value the same, and I don't see any matching up with these, but I do know that if I reflect it over the y-axis for each of these, that would take care of, yep, and I'm getting somewhere already. If I reflect over the y-axis from each of these, take these and reflect over y, I've now produced this x value. And then the question would be, so if I take that and reflect over y, now I'm here, and I feel like I could just slide to get to the final image. I've got the orientation now across the y-axis, and from this point, I'm just going to go and count. Let's see. If I move each of these down 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2, 3, a reflection over the y, and then taking those pairs x and y, and leaving x the same, and moving y, moving down 4. Oh, I said 3. Why am I writing 4? -1 minus 3. -4, 1 minus 3, -2. So that analysis piece. And you could write this as, in component form, it would be 0, -3. X has stayed the same, Y's went down 3. And again, that's just me looking like, how can I change this around? How can I change this around? And then go from, you know, one figure to something in the middle. I found that reflect over Y to help, and then I slid down 3 to get over here. Now with number 16, I'm starting out, again, it's an analysis of what's going on. In 16, I'm starting out with DEF, this guy right here on the left, and I've got to get to, I don't notice, ooh, I do notice, let's see, my X values, I can't see any relationship between where I started and where I finished on X's, but I do notice that the Y values are all the opposite. And that takes me back to a rotation. And a rotation, let me see if I can rotate and then maybe reflect. I feel like a rotation of this may be 180. If I rotate 180, it takes all my points and it takes the opposite of each one. Let me see if that helps at all. If I drop a D prime in here and put it at 3 and 4, the opposite of each one, an E prime, put it at 5 and 1, and an F prime, put it at, and I'm just trying to, I'm looking at, I got to turn it somehow and see where this lands me. 1 and -1. D prime, 3 and 4, there's D prime. Oh, I think I'm going to get somewhere here. E prime, 5 and 1. And then F prime, 1 and -1. F prime, 1 and -1. Yep, I can see it now. So that's me taking E, F, D, and rotating it 180 degrees. And then actually, I think this is going to pop out at you guys pretty quickly here. D, look at this line of reflection right here. This line of reflection would take D prime over to J, E prime over to K, and F would come over to L. That line is X equals 2. So for this one, a rotation of 180 degrees, followed by a reflection over X equals 2. So these are really getting you to think and analyze. 17's got 2 parts. It gets into what those rules are in section in your 4.4 notes. It's on the front page of your 4.4 notes. And in the front page of your 4.4 notes, what transformation is same as reflecting an object over two parallel lines. If I go and take some object and I reflect it over two parallel lines, reflect over this line, reflect over this line, reflect over. So if I have that figure, what we learned in section 4.4 and our notes tell us that however far apart these lines are, let's call that distance D, you could translate over twice the distance, translate by 2 times D, where D is the distance between the two parallel lines. D is the distance between the two parallel lines. And then they also ask us to address what goes on when you reflect an object over two intersecting lines. And that has to do with the angle of the way the two lines intersect. If I have a figure that I reflect over one line, and then I reflect over another line, that is the same as doing a rotation that is equal to twice the measure between those two angles. Reflecting over two intersecting lines is the same as a rotation of 2 times x degrees, where x degrees is the angle formed by the two intersecting lines. Then we go on to number 18. In number 18, they want us to just change the size. 18 is a size change. P in 18, P was 2, 2. The size change is a half. That's going to make P prime sitting at 1, 1. Q is at 4, 4. The size change is a half. Q prime, 2, 2. R is at 8, 2. Under a size change of a half, R prime is going to be at 4, 1. Oops, that was P. Got smaller. In 19, this figure is multiplied by a size change of -3. It's going to turn it 180 degrees, and it's going to triple it in size. X started out as, I'm going to write it down here, X was -3, 2. Under the size change of K equals -3, that's going to go to X prime as 9, -6. X prime. Y is sitting at 2, 3. Under that size change of -3, Y prime is going to sit at -6, -9. There's Y prime. It's getting bigger and it's turning. Z is sitting at 1, -1. Under K equals -3, Z prime is going to be -3, +3. Z prime. It got 3 times bigger and it turned 180 degrees. 3 times bigger and turned. Now in number 21 and 22, how can we get from what we started with to what we ended with? What we started with is this little figure. An analysis of these points tells me that this figure is 3 times the size. So I've got to do something, and then I've got to triple it. And actually what the something is going to be, and I got to keep in with time here. In this one, if I reflect my little figure over, X, I'm sorry. Shoot, nope, that's not the way I wanted to go. Crap. I want to reflect my little figure over X equals -1. There it is. I'm going to reflect over X equals -1, and then I'm going to dilate by -K equals 3. I want you guys to write the points down to show how that goes from one to the next. I'm giving you the answer, and I want you guys to write the points down to show how one goes from X equals -1, reflect, to the dilate, multiply everything by K equals 3. Now let me tell you about 22, so you can get 22. The first transformation for 22 is a 270-degree rotation. And a 270-degree rotation is going to take all your ABs, and they're going to turn into B negative A's. And then from there, your figure is going to get smaller. You're going to dilate by a half. And that'll get you from, we rotate ABC, and then we dilate by a half to get down to RST.